Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of
the Sibling Rivalry Baseball Podcast.
And here's your host, Jana, and her big brother, Jeff. I don't know about you, but it feels like it's been about a month since the trade deadline.
Yeah, it really has. I didn't think about that, but yes.
It does.
It does.
Yikes. So much has been going on, and you always wonder what the aftermath will be. Will those trades work out, especially when you're underwhelmed by something?
Yeah, which this trade deadline, as in years past, has been very underwhelming.
Sure enough, but for a couple teams it's been great. For some others, not so great. We'll talk about that. I don't know if you noticed, but the regionals for the Little League World Series have fired up. And so those are currently going on. And I ended up watching the team out of Nolensville, Tennessee, Stella and the Fellas. Stella, I don't remember her last name, but is a girl on the team, and she has got some fire. She is fired up. She keeps the team up. And so they call her that. They call it Stella and the Fellas.
I love it.
So we'll see if Nolensville makes it out of their Southeast Regional and moves on to Williamsport. The Little League World Series action will be going on the 16th through the 27th. So probably next week we'll start talking a little more about that, and for the next couple of weeks. Otherwise, let's just, I don't know, start digging our hole.
All right, sounds good. I got the shovel.
So about 6 weeks ago, the Angels had their trade deadline. That's about how long it's been?
Well, yeah, 6 weeks. That sounds about right.
Before we get too deep into that, let's just take a look real quick. Let's recap a little bit where they've been. Last time we talked about them, they had swept the Tigers, got one from the Blue Jays, a team they really needed to beat because they hold the last wild card spot.
Right.
So you'd want to beat that team and move up towards them. And they didn't do that. They lost to that. And then, of course, out of the frying pan into the fire into Atlanta.
Yeah.
But Atlanta got swept by the A's this season. So it's not a given that they're going to, and the Angels are presumably a better team than the A's, at least on paper.
Right. Yes, that's true.
And really, we could talk about this last week. The Angels had the Braves. They went home to take on the Mariners. We can bookend. In the week, they won, and I don't even have to say any more. They won.
That's it. They won.
They won one.
Yeah, and it was the first game. So I thought it was like, hey, maybe the Angels are going to do something. They're going to really put it to the Braves. And they
together.
Won.
They're kind of settling in.
Right.
They've got, they sent Chase Silseth, who's had some good outings. And remember him. And we're thinking, okay, so Grichuk and Crone, they're settling in. Everybody's in. Zach Neto's in there. Obviously, we're still got a couple of guys out, but hopefully we're going to be good. And on that first game, like I said, looked like it. I mean, they held the Braves to one run. Charlie Morton pitching, crafty veteran, you could say. He gives up 3 runs. They pretty much ran him out of the game. Silseth, 5 innings pitched, just gives up 1 run. I don't know why I'm spitting while I'm talking here, but only gave up 3 hits, and then the bullpen shut them down. The Braves,
including nothing. Aaron Loop, who pitched for an inning and didn't give up any hits, didn't give up any runs. I mean, that's something.
No, and he's brought his ERA at that point came down to under 5 now.
Right. That's why I said that's something.
I know it's he's actually been pitching pretty well as late. Now, that once again you get kind of excited about, and you're like, all right, Shohei 2 for 3. They really didn't let him do much. They hit him one time, hit intentional walk. Grichuk hit a home run. Chad Wallach hit a home run. Rengifo hit a home run. That pretty much was it as far as the offense. CJ Cron did drive in a run. CJ Cron through this week, through his time, no extra base hits. He's had some singles, but no extra base hits yet. So you think, all right, that's a good way to start out. 10 hits, you did well. And, especially against a tough team like the Braves. So you say, all we got to do is win one more. We win the series, and then we'll shoot for the sweep. But let's win the series. That's one thing at a time, one game at a time. But as we know, the Angels are not chasing wins every day, per Phil Nevin.
Right. That's not their mantra.
Now, we don't do that. So the next day, the Braves score 5, and the Angels score 1. So the Braves did them one better. It just...
But
Patrick Sandoval was on the mound.
That's true. He was.
And they were going up against Spencer Strider.
Mm.
But what?
But they lost this game. But you still have another game.
Right. So remember, I want you to continue to remember bookends.
All right.
Now they're going to leave. They've got an early game. It was like a 9:20 in the morning start time here in California. And, Ronald Acuna Jr. With a home run, Austin Riley with a home run, Matt Olson with a home run. Yeah, it was just, it was out of control. Oh, I forgot. Lucas Giolito was pitching for the second time. He got beat up. And the Angels, while they are able to put 5 runs on the board, they can't overcome the 12 that the Braves put up on theirs. And so they end up losing the series and head back to play Seattle, who at that point was right around 500, maybe under. The Angels are still okay. But let's think about this now. I see a trend. They won the first game. What was the date of the first game? It was the 31st of July. The trade deadline was the 1st of August. Okay, so far we're 2 days into August. They haven't won anything.
Yes.
All right. So they go home. They're going to play Seattle, a team that they need to beat. Once again, on paper, they should beat them. And
you have Shohei on the mound for the first game.
Right. Shohei on the mound. You never know what could happen there. So Shohei out on the mound, but there's constantly been something wrong lately. They say, oh, it's okay. He's gonna make his next start, and then he ends up leaving early again.
Only 4 innings. Now 4 scoreless innings, but they said this time he had cramping in Detroit. This time he has cramping in his pitching hand and fingers. But he still is able to do something.
But it wasn't on the mound.
No.
It was with the bat. He does hit number 40. Does help, his team out. It was one of the 3 runs they scored. The problem is, after Shohei left, Jose Soriano came in, only gave up 1 run. So far they're okay. Now, for the first time in the season, Carlos Estevez falls apart.
Yeah, blows it completely.
Gets a blown save and the loss, gives up 4 runs, and that's it. The Mariners start off big. It's like, well, it's only 1. We're okay. Cade Marlowe was the big hero for the Mariners, and that was a grand slam that he hit off of Carlos Estevez.
Yeah.
That really ended it all.
Those are those 4 runs.
But once again, it's only 1. And anybody could have a bad night, and I guess Carlos was due for a bad night, right?
Sure.
23 straight saves is okay. You'll be all right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So they square off again. Friday night's game. Mariners get on the board first, 5 runs. Angels catch up in the bottom of the third. And it was like through the 5th, they're tied because the Mariners scored 4 in the first, 1 in the second, and 2 in the fourth. The Angels 1 in the first, 4 in the third, 2 in the fifth. They're all tied up, but they couldn't stop the Mariners from scoring 2 more, 1 in the 8th and 1 in the ninth. And they end up losing that one too. Reed Detmer's on the hill, gives up 7 runs over 4 innings. And then it was Reynaldo Lopez who came over from the White Sox with Giolito. And Aaron Loop back over 5 on his ERA. Both give up those extra runs, and that's it. I mean, the Angels scored 7 runs on 11 hits, home runs from Rengifo, from Moose, Mickey Moniak. They all hit home runs. Oh, also, I don't know if you noticed, but Seto out.
Yes. Yeah.
And they don't win a lot of games when Zeto's out. They win more than they lose.
Yes. And yeah, we'll be talking about him later in Around Baseball. And in this game, Seattle and the Angels combined for 7 home runs. 7 home runs in that game.
Yeah, Julio Rodriguez hit 1, Ty France, Cal Raleigh, Dylan Moore, all of those, plus the ones we just talked about with the Halos. In that game, Shohei, another hit, 1 for 4, but doesn't really do anything else to help the team. Did score a run. But they fall again. Okay, that's only 2. They can still split the series. They're not completely out of anything yet. But do you see a trend? How many days are we into August?
All right. So that game was the 31st. We had the 1st, right? The 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th. Is that right?
That's correct. The 4th. And how many losses in as many days? Gave you the answer already.
4.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next one, I kind of knew that just when I saw Tyler Anderson was going to be pitching that it was over with. And the Angels never lead in this game, and they lose it 3-2. The Mariners they took it. Boom. Tyler Anderson couldn't compete with George Kirby. Kirby goes 7 innings, gives up just the 1 run. The other run came from the bullpen. Tyler Anderson gives up 2 runs, and then Jose Soriano gives up another one. Aaron Loop back under 5, just barely, because he didn't give up any runs in the game.
Yeah, he's seesawing back and forth.
Brandon Drury did come back, did get a hit, so it was nice to see him back in. Need to get him back in and moving and squared away. But yeah, not really. Yeah, no, not really anything to talk about. So we go to the finale of this, and really, it was kind of a mirror image, except that it was in innings.
Yeah, it went 10. And usually the Angels have been pretty good when it comes to those extra inning games. Mm-hmm. Dodgers, not so much. But the Angels, when we're looking at this rivalry, it's the Angels that seem to be, but not this time. Because something happened when the clock struck midnight. They all turned into pumpkins, so it seems.
Okay.
Cinderella reference.
Here is the bookends. They win on the first game of this week in Atlanta. Right. They were in a spot where they potentially could have won this one. Like I said, it went to innings. Both teams scored in the first and then again in the seventh. Chase Silseth went 7 innings, gives up both runs, but strikes out 12. Of course, Bryce Miller from the Mariners struck out 10. It wasn't, they were pretty close in there, but overall, that was a good outing for Chase Silseth. The problem is there was no offense. Matt Thaiss with a home run, Moustakas with a double, but there was really no offense.
Yeah, nothing. Most of the guys went, like Rengifo, Ohtani, Drury, 1 for 4. And then Moustakas 2 for 4. He's the only one who went 2 for 4. Or, had more than one hit and going back to the pitching, you had, as you mentioned Silseth and then Bryce Miller from Seattle. They became the first pair of rookie starters to record at least 10 strikeouts apiece in the same game since 1906.
Wow.
Yeah.
Since 1906. Why is it that the Angels are involved in those things? So the Angels at the trade deadline, I believe I sent this to you, had like a 15 or 16% chance to make the playoffs.
Right.
After going 0-6 to start August, from there, not only did they go from at one point being 3 games out of the last wild card spot to somewhere in the neighborhood of like 7, I think.
Yeah, seems like it. And their percentage has gone down like drastically.
So the Angels go from at one point being 3 games out of the wild card to being 7 games out, with only Cleveland stopping them from the not going to get ins. Cleveland's, as of the weekend, 8.5 games out of the last wild card spot. The Angels at that point, too, go from being at one point just like 4.5 games out of first place to dropping below Seattle, who's now 2.5 games out of the wild card spot. The Angels are 10.5 games out of first place. So they've dropped in a week 6 games.
Yeah. 6 games, and they win the 1 game in Atlanta. And as you said, that is kind of the magic date because that was July 31st. And since August has begun. Where are they? What is going on? Are they chasing the losses?
It seems like they're chasing the losses a lot more. There's been sloppy play. Just not even thinking about plays. I've seen him go in to get a ball and not even know where they're going to throw it. Overplaying. I don't mind if like an outfielder is a little aggressive and goes for a catch, but the outfielders have to communicate better. The infielder, they're just playing sloppy baseball, and before they know it, they're going to be completely out of it. Now, I mentioned, I think last week, I had tweeted with the Angels that it looked like they were already defeated. We talked about that. Chris Stavinsky just looked like he was done. And then they come back. And then they were playing really well. They'd won like 9 games in a row out of the All-Star break. And now, bloop, they're done. People are like, are they cursed? And you asked me this too. Are they cursed or just poorly managed? And it's the curse of poor management, really.
Yes. Well, this is the thing, too, with the Angels. We talked about them making the trades at deadline. I had even said, I was thinking, and I said this on the podcast, Lucas Giolito, I thought he was going to be a Dodger. I'm so thankful that he is not a Dodger. And he did go to the right LA team. I said he had gone to the wrong LA team when the Angels got him. But now I believe
The Angels had a 19.5% chance to make the playoffs at trade deadline per Fangraphs. 1 week passed, and they currently have a 1.4% chance per Fangraphs. And see, this is what we talked about, though, is there's no, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. When it came to Shohei, you're going to let him go. And maybe that was what Artie was worried about. The last time somebody like Shohei got traded, the team he was traded to went on to win like 27 world championships, become the greatest team of all time in baseball history. And the team that he was traded by didn't win a World Series for 90 years or whatever it was that the Red Sox took to win a World Series. So maybe he's thinking, but it's like, guess what, Artie? Even with him, you're not getting there because you've already cursed it. Maybe if you trade him, the problem is that what would they have gotten for him? Who knows? There's no way to know. And it looked like right after the trade deadline, Shohei was like, you saw him. He was cheering his teammates on. I'm here. I'm part of this. And he's there. He's part of everything. And now it's just kind of back to wherever it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
And how many games do they have to lose in a row before they fire Nevin?
Yeah, I'd like to know that question. I was wondering about that today because does he have like dirt on Artie or Perry? What does he have?
Maybe he made a deal with the devil. He went down to the crossroads.
He could have. Well, it almost seems like there's something weird. And so you had the curse of the Bambino, of course, with Babe Ruth. Would it have been the curse of the unicorn if he had been traded? And and so maybe Artie was having nightmares about that and said, no, we're not going to trade him. And the day that they said, yeah, he's not being traded, he was when they were playing Detroit in that doubleheader and they swept, that series. Ohtani had a complete game, hit home runs, 2 home runs in the second game. And now nothing. I mean, he's still getting hits. He hit his 40th, but
he hasn't hit any since then.
Right. Since then, and he hasn't pitched well. And then you have the cramping issue, which it's like I said, it was a cramping in his hand, but it was mainly in his middle finger.
Who knows? I just don't even know what to do with it. Now, I will tell you this. When I did tweet that the one time that said they look like they're on their way out, I said they would be out of it by the time Mike Trout came back. And I said, because they were coming back and they started playing well, I said, maybe I spoke too soon. But right now, I'm looking like they may be out of it by the time Mike Trout gets out. But we got to remember, too, all it's going to take is like to turn this around is like the Giants come into play. The Giants are fighting for they've got a wild card spot and they're fighting for everything, too. Can they, they're playing for something. It's going to be a tough series because they are playing for something. But can the Angels take advantage of any weaknesses they have, turn their situation around? All it's going to take is a good, solid 10-game streak, and they can be right back in it.
There's still a
lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of baseball to be played. They can totally do it. I just don't know if it's going to happen under Phil Nevin. Mike Trout is, from what I understand, is close to, starting back with baseball activities, as they say, hitting, using
spitting, scratching.
Right. Chewing sunflower seeds, all of those things. So he's getting close to, so if they turn it around, will that make a good position for him to step in and be the Mike Trout we all know he can be? Or
Well, last
will they
year,
be
when he
out
came
of
back from that back problem,
right?
he was showing everybody.
Yeah, he was on
It's-
fire.
This back problem is not slowing me down.
Yeah. The only one that we know that's always will be slowed down and probably just needs to retire is Anthony Rendon. So,
Yeah, who said, I'm on the, I guess he called it the dead list.
yes.
I don't have to talk to you people.
Right.
And that was he's not normally in the clubhouse when the press is there. And that's
Which is
what he told
probably
the
a good
press.
thing. That's probably a good thing that he's not there.
Yeah, I would think so, because he doesn't really.
Anyway, he's a downer.
So we mentioned that the Angels are hosting the Giants, and then they will pack up and head to Houston. And Houston, they got Altuve back. They're playing pretty good ball. They've got Verlander now. Framber Valdez, we'll talk about him a little bit later in Around Baseball. Pitching well. They've got a lot going on, and they are in the thick of it with the Rangers. So they have a whole different mindset. And that would be great for the Angels to go in there and be able to win that series. Can they? It's up to them. Can they chase the wins? They can. Question is, will they? I don't know about you, but I don't have a player of the week this week.
So I thought about it and I almost went that route. But then I thought, I mean, the batting averages weren't that great, but they did come in, they got traded, and that's CJ Cron and Randall Grichuk, and they both came in, and Cron had 3 RBIs, Grichuk had 2 home runs, had 4 RBIs. So they came in and they started hitting. They started, it wasn't, we got traded and it takes me a while to warm up to the team. I mean, Cron has been with the team before. So I am going with Cron and Grichuk as my players of the week.
I guess if I was going to do it, I would give it to Chase Silseth, just because of all the pitchers he had the best outings and really, helped the team, especially by going deeper into the games to help preserve the bullpen a little bit.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Now, the Dodgers took a lot of heat for their trade deadline. They made moves, but once again, it wasn't, it wasn't the sexy moves. There was no huge, they apparently, we talked about last week about Eduardo Rodriguez, who we've heard even more now that potentially there might have been a little greed, gold digger, that may have played into him not coming to LA, blamed it all on his family, said they're comfortable in Detroit. For the most part, they're based out of Miami. It was like there was a lot going on. Honestly, I kind of think he would have been a bust. He would have ended up not getting anything for the money that it was going to cost to have him and the prospects that Detroit wanted.
Right. And I agree with you on that point. I think I'm always concerned when it is trade deadline because I think you can go back and look at Manny Machado. He was a bust, right? Max Scherzer, I feel like, was a bust. Trey Turner, we had him an extra year. We got some good games, some entertaining, slides and things like that. But didn't help us win, didn't help the Dodgers win against the Padres or, to get to the World Series.
Right.
So I think it's I always think of Manny Machado whenever it comes up, because I always think I just don't want whoever the Dodgers get, don't want him to be a bust. And I don't know. I was excited about Kike Hernandez coming back because Kike's fun and he can play anywhere. We talked about him being, another utility player. Dodgers love that.
Mhm.
And maybe it goes back to, the stuntmen, the Mickey Hatchers of the Dodgers, that 88 World Series. And then Joe Kelly, of course. But I was like, ooh, Lance Lynn? I don't know, But yeah, we'll talk about Lance Lynn. And I am glad, like I said, we got Lynn, you guys got Giolito. So that was good.
It's good that he's only a rental,
And
being
then
in Giolito.
Rosario is like, oh, he's the worst fielding shortstop, not doing great, and has never played second base, but has played second base for the Dodgers since being traded. I don't know. I think putting on the Dodger uniform has brought new life into these trades, into these guys.
Yeah, because Rosario's played pretty well. Lance Lynn, in fact, why don't we just talk about it now? The A's come to town, and normally what we say for most teams, if you've been struggling or you're having some issues, which I don't know if the Dodgers have really struggled because they've overcome all of the obstacles, maybe not the way we want them to, maybe not resounding like, oh, they're just still steamrolling everybody. But they've done that before. What did it get them?
Yeah.
But, if you're having issues, you need a little confidence, play a losing team. Well, they don't get much losier than the than the Oakland A's.
Yeah, but these are the type of series where I get a little worried because I don't know if it's they kind of let their guard down or they don't play as hard. And maybe it's just my imagination. Maybe they are playing hard. But look at how the series that they had against the Royals. I mean, that was just disaster. So I think it's not. I think for Dodger fans think, oh, the A's are coming in, not a guarantee. But Lance Lynn makes his debut for the Dodgers against the A's on this first game. Now, he has given up a lot of home runs. That's something that he has been doing this season. He gave up 3 home runs in his debut. But he did have help from Mookie Betts, who hit his 28th home run. And he's given up in this game. He gave up his 29th, 30th, and 31st home run of the season. But he did retire the first 7 batters he faced. He allowed 3 runs and 5 hits in 7 innings, which is huge for the Dodger rotation that has not seen a Dodger pitcher go 7 innings since Clayton Kershaw did it on.
It was in June, I think you told me.
Yeah, June 20th.
Yeah, I remembered that because we had kind of talked about that. When was the last time? And it was probably Clayton.
Yeah.
Sure enough. So yeah, they walk away with a 7-3 win. Good start there. It's Zach Geloff from the A's, who is a rookie sensation. That's really. If they're winning anything, it's because he's, playing well. He's only batting .237, but he had a home run in this game. Brent Rooker, who was their all-star representative, and Jordan Diaz walk away with that. I got to get familiar with them because on the 18th, I'm going to see the A's at the Coliseum play the Orioles.
Oh, nice. Now, will you be chanting "Sell the team"? Will you join in?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. I mean, they were doing that at Dodger Stadium during this series. The A's fans have asked, through the grapevine, will you, when the A's are playing in your state, at your stadium, playing your team, you get a chant going, "Sell the team." And it was very audible on the broadcast on several of the nights. Freddie Freeman, 4 for 5 in this game, 2 runs, RBI, and he had a double, 3 singles. He stole his 14th base. He is up there in the MVP talks. Of course, everybody wants to give it to Ronald Acuna Jr., which we totally get. But when you look at the numbers between the two, there are a lot of similarities in their seasons. Will Smith, uncharacteristically, 4 times. Struck out 4 times in a game for the second time in his career. On the other hand, Chris Taylor walked 4 times.
How many times in his career has he walked 4 times?
I don't know. I'm going to say this is the 3rd time. No, I don't. I don't
Okay.
know.
We're just making up numbers here at the Sibling Rivalry Baseball
But
podcast.
no, Will Smith, that's the real deal.
No, I'm sure. I just, but we always talk about only the second time, or he does this all the time. But with the walks, somebody knows that number.
Nobody
we just
knows.
Didn't look it up.
All right, so first game, Dodgers look good. Beat the A's 7-3. We see Lance Lynn make his debut. He goes 7 innings. That right there endures him to Dodger fans because he goes 7 innings. Next game, I mean, it was Mookie and Freddie. Mookie and Freddie show 10-1. Dodgers win. Mookie hits his 29th home run. Freddie goes 3 for 4. And what more can you say? I mean, it's 10-1. Freeman, he's just amazing. He hits his 37th and his 38th doubles, and he singled. He scored twice, and then he drove in another run, and then probably to his protest, he was benched to, get him off his feet, as Doc likes to say. But he was 4 for 5 in the game before, and here he is, going 3 for 4. Tony Gonsolin's on the mound. He only allows 1 run and 5 hits over 5 innings. And,
there's one thing that was huge in this game that had not happened this season.
Okay, let me think. Yes. This, I think, is amazing. Would it have to do with Miguel Rojas?
It would.
Yes, he hits his first home run as a Dodger, but this is his first home run since June 26, 2022.
So over a year.
Yes. He goes in the dugout. He gets the silent treatment. So he starts dancing, just like, you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he gets, everybody, jumps on him. And he still has his home run. That home run ball is in his locker.
Awesome. Ahmed Rosario also with a homer in that game.
That's right.
So once again, these guys are, you can count on Mookie and Freddie most of the time, the majority of the time. And then, the other guys, pick it up. And it's been nice to see some of these other players that, Outman's picking it up. Kike has been playing really well, not great in Boston, but definitely showing that he's happy to be back with the Dodgers, back home, as he said.
Yes. Yeah. So that brings us to game 3. Dodgers already have won the series. They go for the sweep. They get that sweep. They beat the A's 8-2. I don't know. Freddie Freeman, 2 doubles, had a home run, just 22nd of the season. He just
his league leading 40th double.
That's right. That also happened. League leading. I mean, he has gone 32 for 63 since July 17th. And it's just crazy what he's doing at the plate.
Batting over 500 since then. The only thing that's stopping him from leading at least the National League in batting average is Luis Arraez.
That's right. Julio Urias is on the mound, and last time he was on the mound, not so great, but he bounced back. He had 5 scoreless innings. He had allowed 11 runs in 11 innings in his previous 2 starts. So, no runs, had 5 strikeouts. And then Emmett Sheehan goes the last 4 innings for his first major league save.
Gives up a home run once again to the rookie Zach Geloff of the A's there, and Tyler Soderstrom to give up those 2 runs. And overall, just another onslaught. 14 hits for the Dodgers, and good pitching. Only 2 pitchers needed, and then Emmett Sheehan was sent down after that, and mostly because I think you noticed it as well, probably to make room for Ryan Yarbrough.
Yeah, so that was a move, and really, Emmett Sheehan, when he came out for his debut, looked great. Second outing out, okay, and he sweats a lot on the mound. I've never seen anybody sweat so much. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's some retooling that can happen when he's in Oklahoma City. But yeah, sit down, make room. Dodgers on their way down the 5 to San Diego for a big 4-game series at Petco.
Yep, wraparound series started up on Friday, ended on Monday, and got to see one thing that I saw that I never want to see again: G-Man Choi in the Padres City Connects.
Yeah,
he doesn't look good in that neon coloring. It just was wrong with him. Saw him the rest of the series in the on Sundays. They wear the camouflage usually for the military connection. Right. He was fine in that. He was fine in the regular brown and yellows, but those City Connects are just horrendous in general, but even worse. I think really Tatis is one of the few people, because he accessorizes it and it works for him.
Right. Yeah. You really have to play that up. Yeah. What did I say? It washed G-Man out. And I think he's more of has a warmer palate than
fashion expert.
Cooler.
And Fernando Tatis Jr. loves those uniforms so much that he went 0 for 5 in the first game of the series.
Yeah. This first game, 10-5. Bobby Miller's on the mound. Only goes 3 2/3 innings, gives up 6 hits, 2 runs. But it was a Padres bullpen meltdown that led the Dodgers to a 5-run 8th inning. Chris Taylor and pinch hitter JD Martinez, he's not on the IL, but they kind of been holding back on him a little bit. Both of them drew consecutive bases loaded walks, and the Dodgers end up winning this game 10-5. James Outman was amazing defensively, robbing a home run from Fernando Tatis Jr., and then he hit his own home run for number 13. And Yu Darvish, he held the Dodgers to 2 runs and 5 hits in 7 innings. He struck out 4, but then the bullpen came in and gave it up.
It was Robert Suarez and then Scott Barlow, who they just got from the Mariners at the trade deadline, that gave up the bulk of the runs. 5 from Suarez. That would have been the 8th inning, and then in the 9th, 3 more runs. Was what Barlow gave up, and not a great beginning for him there as a Padre.
No, not at all. Now, this next game, we go into Saturday, and I don't know, we didn't need a repeat of the game before, other than if it was for the Dodgers to win. But we had a repeat of a bullpen meltdown, but this time it was the Dodgers. I think there was some mismanagement going on with pitching that night. Dodgers end up losing 8-3. Dodgers were leading 3-1. I didn't get this. So Grove started, and there's been talk about Michael Grove maybe being in the bullpen. But he only goes 1 1/3 innings. He only gives up 1 hit, but he has 4 strikeouts within that time. He looks good. They pull him. They bring in Ryan Yarbrough for his debut, and he only goes 4 1/3 innings, gives up 3 hits, 1 run, has 3 strikeouts, does give up one of those is a home run. But still, I felt like Grove could have gone a little bit longer. I think Yarbrough could have gone a little bit longer. But instead, the Dodger bullpen decides to implode, and it starts with Yency Almonte, who loaded the bases with 1 out. And then he was replaced by Caleb Ferguson. And then Juan Soto hit an RBI infield single. There was a throwing error by Kike Hernandez, who he shouldn't have even thrown the ball, but he did. And then that brought in the tying run. Manny Machado singled. That brings it to 5-3. Then they get Machado caught in a rundown, but Caleb Ferguson has a throwing error, overthrows to Freddie Freeman. Machado ends up at third.
Two errors in that game for them. Dave Roberts, after the game, talking about Yency Almonte, where he fits into the Dodgers bullpen. He says, it's pretty easy in my chair. You give guys opportunities, and they play themselves into their own roles. I'll leave it at that. So what does that mean?
What does that mean? I don't know, because we go to the next game. Oh, let me go back to this other game because something was interesting happened. Blake Snell is on the mound for the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
And he was done after 5 innings. He had thrown 108 pitches, but a balk was called on him. Now, he said by the first base umpire, he said he was trying to change the pitch call on his pitch comm, but the umpires told him he had come set twice, and that was it was pretty much a balk because he threw the ball over to first base, and he just didn't look settled. And then he was like, well, wait. I was trying to change the pitch comm, but it was just awkward. He doesn't get thrown out, but the pitching coach does. He gets ejected. So that was kind of an interesting. I thought Blake Snell had been ejected, but the pitching coach took one for the team to let his pitcher keep going. But yeah, so
maybe should have let him get thrown out.
Well, yeah, because he had a 2.5 ERA after this game. He had a 2.61. He allowed 3 runs, 4 hits. He struck out 8. He walked 4. I wonder sometimes when I watch Blake Snell pitch against the Dodgers if he has flashbacks.
Maybe
from World Series.
From his Tampa days.
Yeah. So we go on, and Dodgers are looking good. Game 3, ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball, not always a good omen. Cuz behind the plate, not always good. What's going to happen in this game?
Freddie Freeman. Mookie Betts.
Ahmed Rosario. All hitting home runs to spoil former teammate Rich Hill's debut with the Padres. This is his 13th team that he has been with. And who's on the mound for the Dodgers?
Lance
Lynn. Yeah. Another great start for him. And, he did give up a home run to Gary Sanchez, but
only one.
That is huge because in his first game with the Dodgers was 3. He ends up going 6 innings, gives up 4 hits, 1 run, and has 6 strikeouts. This game was interesting to me and a little frustrating when, and I know the Dodgers won, and it was 8-2, but they brought in who comes in to pitch the last inning? Yency Almonte. I was like, no, this can't bode well. We're on Sunday Night Baseball, ESPN, Sunday night. It's not, crazy things happen when you got Eduardo Perez in the booth, David Cohn, and the other guy. But
Carl Ravage.
I know, but he's annoying.
And honestly, they were normally, it feels like they're always anti-Dodgers.
Yes.
And they were very complimentary of the Dodgers the whole game. They even had a whole segment about and called it a bromance.
Well, it really is.
Mookie and Freddie.
They finish each other's sentences.
Yeah, and they called that out too.
I love it. But yeah, they really were. That's true. Because a lot of times anything wrong with the Dodgers. But Yency Almonte back on the mound. Doc gives him a little bit of a runway. He pitches 1 inning, gives up 1 hit, no runs. Dodgers win with Yency Almonte closing it out on the mound. Rich Hill, 43 years old, oldest player in baseball, only lasted 3 innings. It's his shortest start of the season. So not a great debut for him with the Padres. And Austin Barnes, I got to tell you, the art of the bunt is somewhat dead, I think, in baseball. Mm-hmm. But Cuz can do the bunt. He's got it down. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's tough. You don't see too many guys who can bunt very well, or they put their hands up and they're gripping the bat completely instead of having it behind. I mean, there's a whole thing. I mean, I remember we used to do drills in Little League about bunting and drag bunts and directing, and I don't see any of that stuff happening, or it doesn't feel like it's happening. And a lot of times it was the pitchers who did that the most. And since the pitchers are not hitting anymore, that's kind of gone. But being able to bunt, that's something we didn't talk about before, but there were plenty of times in some of these games where instead of coming up, and Luis Rengifo is big about this with the Angels, wanting to hit the one, the game-winning home run when he's up there, instead of, we just needed a single. We tie it up. We live to fight another inning or another day, whatever it is. Let's play smart baseball, not home run baseball. Don't die by it as well.
Yeah.
If you hit home run, great, but that's not what's the goal. How do we win? Same thing with the Dodgers have done that too, where they don't play smart heads up baseball. Not as often, but it happens.
Yeah, and when he hit that bunt, G-Man Choi fielded it. He threw to home plate to get Kike Hernandez, who was the runner on third out. But that call was overturned because Gary Sanchez was blocking the plate. Yes. And it was clear that he was blocking the plate. But of course, when Buster Olney interviewed Bob Melvin, because I always think it's funny, like they're like, okay, the call is overturned. The runner is safe. The catcher was blocking the plate. Then the opposing manager has to come out. Oh, he needs to find out what was the ruling. He just told you. Why do you need more specifics? And then when he was interviewed by Buster Olney, he's like, oh, these rules, they're all over the place. No, it's pretty specific.
Yeah, because it didn't work in your favor, so it's all over the place. And Buster did ask Doc as well, you've won 2 challenges. Like, what were you thinking? It's like, I was thinking we won 2 challenges. What? It was a good time to do that. It was worth the challenge. I was like, I mean, I got to give it to Buster. Buster walked up to Phil Nevin before the trade deadline with the Angels and said, so are you trading Ohtani?
It's true. He did. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll give it to him. So maybe he was having just an off night. All right. Final game of the series.
The wraparound.
the wraparound. And this one looked like it was going in favor of the Padres. Tony Gonsolin's on the mound, and the Padres were up 5-0, 6-0, and thought, well, yeah, 6-0. What's going on? Is it going to be one of those days? And then they were up 5. Yes. So 5-0.
Going into the top of the fourth, it's 5-0.
Mm-hmm. And
Drakes.
Dodger fans they travel well. And of course, there's always a large contingent at wherever they play, but especially in San Diego. But the San Diego fans were really loud and they were excited until the Dodgers came to the plate in the 4th inning and had an 8-run 4th inning, capped off by Mookie Betts' grand slam.
Mm-hmm.
And it stunned the Padres crowd in their straw hats.
It did. It was like a whole different thing. They were like, well, at least we got a straw hat out of this.
Well, and Mookie had a 3-0 count. Now, their pitcher, Seth Lugo, said that the Dodgers putting up 8 runs in the 4th was Bush League.
Well, not so much the 8 runs, but how they got the 8 runs. Because in his mind, he's tipping his pitches essentially.
Yes.
They're catching his grip. Because remember, it's not like before when you were on second base, there was a whole different set of signs and stuff that you do because the runner on second could see. Now it's pitch com. So if he's got his hand behind him and you can see what grip he's putting on the ball, even Bob Melvin said, everybody does it. There's nothing wrong, and it's not against the rules. Seth Lugo said it may not be, but it's Bush League. And the only reason Bush League is because they beat you.
Right.
If you had beat them, and if you had done like Zach Greinke, hey, I'm going to throw a sinker, I'm going to throw a changeup, and he gets you out, well, then he's going to be celebrating that. It's not going to be Bush League.
No.
Because he beat you even when he told you what he was doing. But when you beat him, regardless of whether you notice the pitch or not, and if he's paying that much attention to know that somebody's on second base relaying what the pitch is going to be, then he's not paying enough attention to what he's supposed to be doing.
Right. Especially because how many times did he have? Did the Dodger batters have 3-0 counts against him? Quite a few.
So Freddie singles to start that, and then Max walks. That puts Freddie at second base. Whose fault is it that Freddie's at second base?
Seth Lugo?
Yeah. And anytime that anybody got there, a couple walks in there, and he walked in with somebody on first base. So, Freddie singled. Next thing you know, they go around ninth. It's the 9th batter who hits the grand slam. And that's the end of Seth Lugo there for this game. Something that I thought I hadn't seen happen, and I was thinking it didn't even happen at all in this season. I was wrong, but Gonsolin doesn't go his 5 and out. He goes 6 innings in this game.
Yeah.
It's not the first time, though, that he's gone 6 innings. The most he's gone is 6 2/3. So he's pitched into the 7th inning before. That was back on July 7th when he pitched against the Angels. But he's had, a total of 5 games where he's pitched 6 or better. And only one that's been better. 6 2/3 is that one I just told you about. Otherwise, he's gone 6 innings in those. And had pretty decent pitch counts. In this game, he throws 84 before he's removed from the game. And they said, I heard, I was watching part of it during lunch, and I did hear them talk about that he was only going to go 90 pitches. That's his limit, 90.
Yeah, and I wonder about that when you have limits like that on your pitchers. I guess in some ways it could help, but I also think it could help in that the pitcher could be, okay, I'm going to make the most of all of these pitches. I'm going to do as much as I can and really conserve my pitches and get, go 1, 2, 3, if possible, right? But then I wonder if it also can be a hindrance to know I'm only going 90 pitches. And why is he being limited?
That's
to
a good question. And we'll never know.
No,
Because they just don't tell us.
they don't.
The most he's thrown in a game this season is 109 pitches. He did that in a loss to Toronto. Toronto beat him 8-1 back at the end of July.
Yeah.
And that's the most he's thrown. He did that over 5 innings. Other than that, he's had a couple. I think 94 is the most that he's thrown. Otherwise, other than the 109, 94, 92 a couple times, 90 a couple times. The rest of he's been under 90 pitches. The rest of the way throughout games throughout the season. So
but, I mean,
I don't know.
I think it's some. I think I would like to know. How are they looking at these pitchers individually and saying, okay, we're going to let him pitch this many. He can throw this many pitches, and this guy can go this many innings, and this guy, we're going to start him, but we'll piggyback him with another pitch. How is it? How is it? And is that good for the rotation? Because the Dodgers, that Clayton Kershaw's not back yet. Hopefully soon. But
there's rumors, there's murmuring.
Yes, but how is that helping the rotation? I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll just have to watch and see. But yeah, so the Dodgers end up walking out of San Diego, winning the series 3-1.
Yep, they took 3 of it, and to make sure that they got there. Not only did they, with the exception of Luis Campusano, who had 2 home runs on the day, they added another 5 runs in the 6th just to give themselves a little, something. Yeah. And then they moved on from there with those 5s, including a Kike home run, Max with a double. It was a good game.
Yeah, and everybody in the lineup had a hit, and there were 5 doubles in that game, so a lot of dancing and 2 home runs.
There was. Joe Kelly pitches in that game, and we didn't really talk about him in game 1.
True.
He went after. He was already having a bad day, but he went old school. Joe Kelly did on Fernando Tatis Jr. Throws up and in on him a couple of times, knocks him down.
Yeah, knocks him down in dramatic fashion.
Yes, and both times he loses his bat, and then Joe Kelly strikes him out. And in Joe Kelly fashion, has some words for him that people pick up. He didn't say it out loud, didn't yell it at him. Just was turning around to walk off the mound, waiting for the ball to be thrown around the horn, and had some motivational buzzwords for Fernando Tatis Jr. and his neon City Connect jerseys uniform.
Oh, you gotta love Joe Kelly.
All right, so great.
With
the exception of the 1 loss, the 1 loss shy of a sweep in the week.
Yeah,
with the A's and the Dregs, the Dodgers headed out of San Diego, and they've done this before. Head to Arizona for a 2-game set. I was supposed to be there, but unfortunately, things happen.
And you're here.
Make the trip. I didn't make the trip to Arizona, after all. But then right now, you figure they're going to do a 3-game. A 3 series in a row: Padres, Diamondbacks, and then the Rockies. Before, we were kind of looking at the Diamondbacks series, and not to say that the Diamondbacks still can't play, but the Diamondbacks have fallen off since the trade deadline. They haven't won either, as I recall. I might be off by 1, but I don't think they've won a game yet either.
No, I think you're right. Yeah. the Dodgers, sometimes they go to Arizona. It's great. And it's
Right.
almost like, as I said, Dodger fans travel well,
Especially when it's only a couple hours or even 6 hours away,
They're
and you'll
gonna
see
be
a
there.
big contingent show up in Denver as well when they play the Rockies for this
Well-
next week.
Well, yeah, but they're going to be home
Oh, that's right.
against the Rockies
I
because
forgot about
it is
that.
a
They're
big
back.
weekend. It's Fernando Valenzuela.
Yes, and retirement of his number 34.
Yeah, number
About time.
34. Yeah, so it's going to
About
be a fun weekend of celebration for Fernando, and he's just awesome. So, yeah, they're going to have, I think they've got a Fernando bobblehead. They got all kinds of giveaway stuff going on.
Yep, for
So-
sure. All right, so who's your player of the week?
So you can always go with Freddie, but
Right.
this time I went with his better half, Mookie Betts. 11 for 30, 7 RBIs, 4 home runs, one of those, of course, being a grand slam, 2 doubles, 367 average over these games. So Mookie Betts is my player of the week.
Yeah, that's a good choice there. I mean, what else are you gonna do? That's between the two of them, they really are, the reason where the Dodgers are where they are. I mean, they continue to drive them forward. I am not going with either of those two guys, but what you said, you can almost pick either one of them most of the time. I'm going to go with the returning hero, Kike Hernandez, 321 batting average over the last week. 7 games worth, 7 RBIs, a home run, 2 walks, only 3 strikeouts on that, 4 doubles, 9 hits to welcome himself back to Dodgerland in his minty green cleats.
Well, and that was one of my favorite things watching the game on Friday night. Joe Davis, Oral Hershiser calling the game, and Joe Davis said, "It is as if the Padres took Kike Hernandez's cleat collection and made it into a uniform."
Speaking of which, before we go, saw the on the Spectrum Sportsnet, the Dodgers channel, they were talking to Walker Buehler, who has a deal with Nike, and he has got a room, an unfinished room, full of shoes. It's incredible how many shoes he has, and he has them in like it's like shoe rack kind of thing, but they're enclosed. So he opens the little thing. There's like a little clear door, pulls it down, pulls out his shoe. And this is this shoe. And this is this shoe. It is pretty incredible. And then on top of those, he just has boxes and boxes of different shoes, primarily Nikes.
Yeah.
Because he's got a deal with Nike.
Sure.
Perhaps I'm kind of thinking no, but perhaps back at the beginning of September, we'll see. Not sure. We saw the same kind of thing happen with Dustin May, and it didn't really work out that well. I'd rather see him continue to work to be 100% healthy before he comes back. But, whatever happens there.
Yeah, he's supposed to be. He's been with the teams. Have seen him in the dugout. He is with the team. Should be with the team in Arizona, and I think he's going to be throwing a bullpen in Arizona. But I feel the same way. I don't want him to rush back. Don't want the same result, with Dustin May, who was looking so great, and then basically had Tommy John surgery again. We don't want that. We don't want that for Walker.
All right, we got the bullpen card all shined up, and we got the other bullpen card out here with the hat that has the SRBB logo on it today. It's got the gloves and the headlights and the bats. to hold everything up. It's very cool. And it's ready to take a ride around baseball. And as always, we will start off with the players of the week, but then we will slide right into the players of the month that hadn't come out last week when we recorded last week's show.
All right, players of the week. American League Player of the Week. No surprise here. Framber Valdez of the Houston Astros. He had a no-hitter against the Guardians. It was the 16th in Astros franchise, and it was the first for Valdez. He only needed 93 pitches. It's the third fewest in no-hitter since pitch counts have been tracked, which is 1988. He struck out 7, and he faced the minimum 27 batters. He had a 5th inning walk. That was the only thing that kept him from perfection. This is his first Player of the Week award, and the first for an Astros pitcher since Garrett Cole in 2019. And again, not a surprise here. National League Player of the Week, Freddie Freeman. He continues. He had a week. He batted 500, 1.459 OPS. And he had, as I mentioned, those 3 hits in that first game against the A's. He had 2 home runs. One of them was at the end of a 10-pitch at bat. And he went 3 for 3, and he in stolen bases. He has 16 stolen bases on the season, and this is his 9th time winning Player of the Week. And he has the NL Best 172, which is WRC plus. So a WRC plus is the statistics. It takes the statistics runs created, and it adjusts that number to account for external factors like the ballpark or era, and it is adjusted. So if a player has a WRC plus of 100, that is league average, and 150 would be 50% above league average, and he has the best at 172. So just one of those stats that you often don't see, but it's important. And those are your players of the week.
Rightly so. And don't forget, real quick, too, Play of the Week went to Austin Haze from the Orioles. I saw this catch. I was watching this game. Pretty incredible catch. Lays out and makes this catch in the outfield that became the diving catch for the Orioles to beat the Blue Jays. That happened on the last time the Angels got a win, July 31st.
All right. Now let's segue over to Players of the Month. Players of the Month for the month of July. This guy, I mean, what do you say about Shohei? This is his 2nd consecutive Player of the Month award. He was Player of the Month in June. He had a 282 batting average, a 1.152 OPS. He had an AL best 9 home runs over 23 games. He had, alongside his 4 starts, he struck out 29 batters in 25 and a third innings with a 4.97 ERA. Then we switch over to somebody that we weren't sure what was going on with him. Was he washed up? Apparently, he just needed a change of scenery in the Windy City. NL Player of the Month, Cody Bellinger of the Chicago Cubs. This is his 2nd career Player of the Month. The last time he got that was in April of 2019. In July, he had a 400 batting average with a 1.122 OPS, 8 home runs, and 24 RBIs. I say good for him, because I was worried about Cody. He was looking hazy.
I wasn't worried about him. He left. That's good. Didn't need him anymore. He wasn't playing well. He was having a hard time hitting. He seems to put it back together.
Yeah.
So good for him that he's, coming
Yeah.
back and making it look like his MVP was not a fluke.
All right. The AL pitcher of the month is Tyler Glasnow of the Tampa Bay Rays. He had a left oblique injury in late May.
Oblique.
And
Oblique.
he's come back to his pre-injury self. He made 6 starts in July, had a 2.11 ERA, 51 strikeouts, and 38 in the third innings. And he held opponents to a 186 batting average. This is his second career pitcher of the month. His last one was in April of 2019. NL pitcher of the month goes to Milwaukee Brewers' Corbin Burns. This is interesting. He is a Cy Young Award winner, but he's never been named pitcher of the month.
Wow. I was just sitting there thinking, I wonder how many of those he's won.
Yeah,
And
this is
never, huh?
never until now. He had 6 starts in July, had a 1.85 ERA, a .72 WHIP, and 47 strikeouts in 39 innings. Opposing batters hit a 115 against him with a 169 slugging percentage, the lowest marks in baseball in July for pitchers with at least 20 innings pitched. So quite an accomplishment there. Then we're going to look at our rookies of the month, and we head to Fenway. Tristan Casas of the Boston Red Sox is the AL Rookie of the Month. He just took off in July, 349 batting average, 1.199 OPS, 7 home runs in 21 games. And of course, this is his first career AL Rookie of the Month. And then we head down to New York and to Queens. Francisco Alvarez is the NL Rookie of the Month. The Mets' first NL Rookie of the Month since Pete Alonso won the award 3 times in 2019. Alvarez hit 8 home runs, 16 RBIs in July, had a team-leading 623 slugging percentage and a 974 OPS. And we're almost done, but we got to talk about relievers of the month. And the American League reliever of the month is Felix Bautista of the Baltimore Orioles. He has taken home 3 relievers of the month this season in 2023. He made 11 scoreless appearances. That's 14 innings in July. He struck out 25 against 4 walks and had 8 saves. His saves outnumbered his base runners, which was only 7. And then back to Milwaukee for the National League reliever of the month, Devin Williams. He had 10 saves. He had a 1.54 ERA, 21 strikeouts, a 0.94 WHIP in 12 appearances. This is his 3rd time taking home the NL reliever of the month and his first since August of 2021.
I guess that's it, huh?
That's it. I did not get the list. I came in after recording time, but we still on the lookout for any concessionaires, hot dog vendors, whatever of the month, the lemonade salesperson of the month, in whatever stadium. Have you seen those hot dogs that they sell in Arlington?
No.
They're called boomsticks, and they are more than a foot long. They're like got to be 2 foot long, 3 foot long. They're huge.
I feel like I've heard that term, but I don't remember. I feel like when they first opened it, maybe I did see it, but I haven't seen one in a while, so I've forgotten.
You got to look it up. They're just, it could feed a family of 4.
Wow.
I mean, they're huge. I
don't
can
know.
See anybody
everything's
eating.
Bigger in Texas.
That's true.
Speaking of the Rangers, since the trade deadline, 7-0.
Of course.
It's happening. They're going to have to battle things out. They've got Scherzer, who I think that gives them an edge during the regular season. The Asterix have Verlander. That gives them an edge in the postseason, I believe.
Definitely, because we all know the postseason equals dead arm.
Right.
In Scherzer land.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Felix Bautista from the Orioles. The Orioles are the 7th team, the 2023 Orioles, 17 in franchise history to win 70 plus of their first 112 games. The other 5 of the 6 were World Series teams. So while I may have missed on the Pirates, I'm still in the running for the Orioles, who still hold the best record as of last Sunday, the 6th, the best record in the American League, and just slightly behind Atlanta for the best record in baseball. Tampa Bay still hanging in right there. Texas is the 3rd team with Houston. So really the only way a Central team gets into the playoffs is because they win the Central Division. That'll be Minnesota unless something completely crazy happens, because Cleveland is 4 games under 500 as of the weekend.
And you mentioned the Orioles, and this is a story I hadn't heard, and maybe you haven't heard. And so I thought I'd bring it up because I think it's interesting. The Orioles play-by-play announcer, Kevin Brown, was removed from MASN, their broadcast. It's like, what is it, Mid-Atlantic Sports Network or something like that.
Right. The sports network is co-owned by the Orioles and the Nationals.
And he made a reference to Baltimore's lack of success against the Tampa Bay Rays at Tropicana Field in previous years. Now, this was before a game on July 23rd. He noted, because this was in the broadcast notes, it was in the notes, that the Orioles had won as many games at Tropicana Field in 2023 as they had in the past 3 years combined.
They even had like the artwork.
The graphic.
The production graphic. There you go.
Yeah.
About it. So it wasn't as if he just spontaneously, shared this information.
Yeah, he said, it's been a minute. The Orioles split a 2-gamer with the Rays in June. They had lost their last 15 series here at Tropicana Field. You have to go back to when our now colleague Brad Brock picked up the win in the series finale, June 25th, 2017. That was the last time the Orioles won a series in St. Pete. Now they've already gone 3-2 after winning 3 of 18 the previous 3 years combined. As you mentioned, that graphic was up, but guess what? Orioles ownership didn't like that comment, and Kevin Brown has not appeared on an MASN television broadcast since then. And we don't know when he's going to be back.
Now, I did read that they're expecting him back mid-August. But the thing that's interesting too is that all their announcers have to wear team logo apparel. They can't just wear a suit, maybe with the orange or a black tie. They have to wear something. And even in the picture that they show of him, he's wearing that with a big Orioles logo of the bird head on his shirt. So it's like, and a lot of the announcers for the teams do wear, maybe it's a polo shirt. But if they're wearing suits, maybe they're wearing a tie, like the Angels announcers. You see Gooby wearing a red tie or something. But a lot of times they're wearing, if they're wearing stuff that they might have team apparel, but it's not mandated.
Right. Yeah.
So it's crazy. I guess this is a big thing with MASN as far as the Orioles are concerned.
Yeah, they don't like it when you bring up them in the past, but why wouldn't you? It shows like how much better the team and how they've evolved. And those are kind of stats baseball fans like. They like to hear that kind of stuff. And for a broadcaster to get suspended because of something that was in the broadcast notes, and not only that, a graphic that was on the screen, that's not right. I say shame on Orioles ownership.
There's a lot of weirdness kind of shifting around, and a lot of it's more to the central and to the east. So my barber grew up a Yankees fan. His dad grew up, he's from Southern California, but his dad was a Yankees fan, so he grew up with that. And normally when I show up for a haircut, he's like excited because he and I talk baseball for the whole hour I'm there. We avoided it because both of our teams are having issues. The Yankees look a lot better than, they're in last place. Well, as of last Sunday, they were in fourth place.
Mm-hmm.
But they 12 games out of first place, but they're still 4 games over 500. But you wouldn't know it to watch them play. We know that Anthony Rizzo having a horrendous second part of the season. He got, it looks like he has what's called post-concussion syndrome or something like that. He took a thigh or a knee to the head from Fernando Tatis Jr. during a game. And when you look at his numbers, he's been horrible ever since then.
But that happened, like in May?
Yeah, it happened months ago. They just now figured that out. They at the trade deadline, they need a third baseman who can hit. Do they go after Heimer Candelario? No. And Brian, my barber, was telling me that Josh Donaldson, who everybody thought it's out for the season, maybe even going to retire per Josh Donaldson's own talk, has been taking batting practice.
Okay.
Is he coming back? Giancarlo Stanton, I guess, thought that it was a home run and he was just cruising around from second to home and was just barely trotting. Gets versus the Asterix the other day, gets thrown out at the plate easily.
Yeah.
Almost like he's surprised that I wasn't, I'm not running fast enough. He was on cruise control. Like, yeah, okay. I could run faster. Not much, but I could run faster. It's just crazy what's happening there. And then we hear, because a lot of people leaving the White Sox, and we're leading to something here. The White Sox, Keenan Middleton, who is now a Yankee, was traded to the Yankees. They didn't really, they could use a reliever, but they didn't really need one. Keenan Middleton, the minute that he gets to New York, spills the beans on what a bad culture the White Sox have, that there were rookies falling asleep in the bullpen during a game. Now, if a player can't stay awake during the game, they shouldn't be there. But Keenan, I think he messed up. 2 things. Guy fell asleep. Did you say something to him? You police your own. Was anything said about it, or did you wait till you left? That's one thing. Number 2, now, do any of your teammates in New York trust you?
Good point.
Now, Lance Lynn did more or less confirm what Keenan Middleton said. Interesting thing is, all that comes out because he's an open book as the Yankees are playing the White Sox. Now, that's not a big thing compared to what really happened with the White Sox. And while they were playing Cleveland, apparently there's been a long-running thing with Jose Ramirez in regards to Tim Anderson. And Tim Anderson's been having a tough year.
Yeah.
Not sure what's going on, and we'll bring on as an after, like a postscript to this, has had some issues even within his own clubhouse. But apparently, Jose Ramirez has said some things in the past and had issues with Tim Anderson. The Guardians are playing the White Sox. J-Ram slides into second base. Nobody's really sure what happened, completely what his intention was, but he reaches up towards Tim Anderson. Was he reaching up for Tim to help him get up? Or what was going on?
Well, I wondered if he reached up for like time. You know how they do, like, hey. And, but I didn't see anything necessarily wrong. There wasn't anything malicious about the slide. There wasn't, it seemed routine, but Anderson is like right over him because Ramirez slides in between Anderson's legs, and he does get upset with Anderson. And I guess he pointed at his head because Jose Ramirez says that you see this too. Even though the guy's on base, they'll still go and tag him. And he said he tagged him too hard. He didn't like it.
Well, he also said that he felt Tim Anderson has been disrespecting the game for a while.
Yes.
And Tim Anderson quickly throws his glove off and gets into fighting, puts his fist up. And then, so Jose Ramirez is like, fine. And he puts his up, and they're kind of going around, and it looks like Tim Anderson had gotten the better of him at first. And then, of course, guys are coming in to pull him away. Well, in that, Jose Ramirez gets like a right cross, almost felt more like a haymaker because he came from way back and happened to catch glass jaw Anderson, and Tim goes down. And in fact, the announcer at the game, down goes Anderson, down goes like Frazier versus Ali, down goes Anderson. And somebody even got a Guardians jersey, and on the back of it, I think it has Jose Ramirez's number, but around it, instead of the name, it says down goes Anderson.
Well, and the umpire in this situation was trying to keep them apart, but once they put their fist up, he became the referee in a boxing match, and I think Terry Francona was upset about that. But I'm like, what's the umpire supposed to do? He could have easily gotten hurt. Just let those two guys duke it out. Ramirez said that Tim Anderson said he wanted to fight and he had to defend himself. So get out of the way.
Tim Anderson ends up with a 6-game suspension out of that. Ramirez only with 3. Anderson started it. He was the one threw the glove down, put it up. Ramirez responded after that. And it was just luck that he happened to do that. But Anderson was out. They had to carry him out. And he wanted to go back and fight some more, but he kept losing his balance. It was a TKO completely. But it really makes not only Tim Anderson's season summed up right there, but the White Sox season summed up in just that.
Just that moment, which didn't last that long because TKO for Ramirez. Yep. So you've got 8 members of the Guardians and the White Sox. You have, as you mentioned, Tim Anderson, 6-game suspension plus a fine. Jose Ramirez with 3 plus a fine. I think both of them are appealing the suspension. Emmanuel Clase. Yeah, both managers. Emmanuel Clase got a 1-game suspension and a fine. I think he's going to serve, that 1 game. Not a big deal for him. Both managers, the third base coach, Guardians third base coach, plus White Sox pitcher Michael Kopech and the Guardians outfielder Gabriel Arias, they each received a fine. And then we hear, as you mentioned, Keenan Middleton, who just said, there's no discipline on this team.
Nope. And it really makes it look like that.
And there's stuff going on in the clubhouse.
Yeah. There's like no discipline. There's just stuff. People are getting away with stuff. And a lot of people thought that it was going to change with the new manager, that a lot of that had to do with Tony La Russa.
Right.
And some of it, they were like, oh, well, the new manager speaks Spanish. He'll be able to bridge the gap. Tony La Russa spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
It wasn't like there was a change in that. It's just nothing really changed. They really need to reset everything there. So
one of the stories that came out, and I heard a little bit more about this, was Tim Anderson and Yasmani Grandal had an altercation in the clubhouse prior to the All-Star break. Grandal, he wanted to leave early. He wasn't in. It was the day before the All-Star break. He wasn't in the lineup, and he wanted to just say, hey, I just want to go. I don't want to be here, or have an extra day of break. And Tim Anderson said, if he doesn't want to be here, I'll pay for his flight. And apparently, Yasmani Grandal walked over to Anderson and slapped him in the face.
He's been hanging out with Tommy Pham, is what's been going on there.
That's true. So this isn't good for, obviously, the culture of the White Sox. And then you have a former player airing your dirty laundry. And a lot of times when stuff like this happens, if nobody addresses it, you think, oh, well, is this really true? But it was almost immediately where you had the coach, the manager, and the general manager, who was like, yeah, we need to, we need to improve the team's culture. So they aren't dismissing it and saying, yeah, this isn't true. I think that was on display with the Tim Anderson's actions against Jose Ramirez. Small but mighty, Jose Ramirez. So,
couple things. One thing we missed out when we were talking about the dregs. The Nationals recently had a 4-game winning streak, and that left the Padres as the only team in the MLB this season to not win 4 games in a row yet.
Which is crazy. I mean, it's August. You would think they would have won a 4-game series by now.
You would think.
But to go along with that, not to say that they're having their own issues, or they were. I don't know if they had Fernando Tatis Jr. mic'd up on ESPN on Sunday night. He says they all support one another. So maybe, that clubhouse is finding its way. But there's still a lot of big egos on that team. So
yeah, a lot of big egos, a lot of big contracts.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that the Angels, and we talked about that, they haven't won since as of Sunday, they haven't won since the trade deadline. The D-backs, the Reds, and the Mets, none of them have won. The Rangers, like I said, the Rangers are undefeated since then, as of Sunday. So, that it's weird, the changes, that sometimes those changes come up, and how it is that, that big of an issue. Hopefully the Angels can get past that and make it. I don't care about the other teams. But we'll see. Aaron Boone, we talked about the Yankees. Aaron Boone continues to be, I would think, your favorite manager when it comes to being colorful and getting ejected.
Yeah, 6 times. I think he has the most of any manager, getting ejected 6 times. And this last time, he did an impersonation of the home plate umpire, and he wasn't wrong on that. That umpire, really bad, calling strikes when he shouldn't have. And yeah, he's I don't know. Is it his Aaron Boone's personality is part of it, and then is he just frustrated with what's going on in the Bronx?
He might be there. I know that the Yankees fans that I know, including my barber, believe that Cashman and Boone both need to go. That they're both part of the problem.
Yeah, I would. I mean, if you look back, they haven't made, a team like the Yankees and who they have. You've got Aaron Judge. You've got this team, and they're not making it to. I mean, they've made it to the playoffs, but they're not making it to the World Series. They haven't. They just can't get over that hump. And Yankee fans. I think it's just a New York thing, maybe, with the Mets and the Yankees. They just can't.
But usually the Yankees
anything.
figure it out. The Mets, doesn't matter what happens. They tend to just drop the ball. Let's go back real quick to Baltimore. I saw Jack Flaherty pitch in his first game back. They beat the Blue Jays. That's why they are where they're at. They made a good move there. It'll be interesting to see that. And it reminded me because I just remembered something about, we were talking about how Tampa Bay's kind of fallen off. They're hanging because they do have great offense, but it looks like another one of their pitchers is going down for a wheel on the special wheel of IM.
Yeah, well, we'll just start there in Tampa Bay with Shane McClanahan. He is on the 15-day IL, left forearm tightness, and it is highly unlikely, according to Kevin Cashman, that he will pitch again this season. And they've already had, that's right, Jeffrey Springs and Drew Rasmussen all have needed Tommy John surgery. And McClanahan may not be too far behind. Marcus Stroman's on the 15-day IL with hip soreness. He isn't expected to miss more than one start, but he's, we'll see. Liam Hendriks underwent Tommy John surgery last week. He came back after battling cancer, finishing up chemotherapy, came back to pitch, and now is out indefinitely, as he gets through Tommy John surgery and the rehab. And for that, Josh Naylor of the Guardians is on the IL with an oblique strain.
Oh! Got to get it started. Oh! Oblique.
He's expected to miss 3 to 6 weeks. Salvador Perez is listed as day-to-day after being hit by a pitch on his hand. And the thing about this is Salvador Perez came out of the game, and Zach Greinke was going to hit for him, but didn't get a chance to. So that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I was sad for...
Yeah, because he loves to hit. Zach Neto, as you mentioned, don't see him. Well, he's on the 10-day IL with back soreness.
He was day-to-day, and then finally...
Just had to put him on there. Taylor Ward underwent surgery to repair facial fractures that he suffered after being hit in the face versus the Blue Jays. Michael Grove of the Dodgers is on the 15-day IL with right lat tightness. Byron Buxton of the Twins has a hamstring injury. Carlos Rodon is on the 15-day IL with the left hamstring injury. And as you mentioned, Anthony Rizzo, he's on the 7-day concussion protocol, but we know that that's going to last a little bit longer. We've seen, Will Smith is a good example. He was pretty much out almost a month, it seemed.
Well, and you got to wonder, too, because it took so long to get there. If it's still going on, it's got to be worse. And once again, pitching issue. Rodon has been absolutely horrible. They got to be upset that they made that signing in the offseason, because he was on the IL all season, comes off, pitches terribly.
Yeah.
And then back on the IL.
Yep. Josh Young is on the 10-day IL, and he will have surgery to stabilize his fractured left thumb, and he's expected to miss 6 weeks. Not sure how that will affect the Rangers, but I guess we'll see. Bo Bichette is on the 10-day IL with knee soreness. And last but not least, we didn't talk about him, but he is part of the Yankees. He's on the restricted list right now. Domingo Germán has consented to get treatment for alcoholism. He was belligerent, came into the clubhouse. He was belligerent, got an argument with Aaron Boone.
Flipped over a couch, I heard.
Yep, flipped over a couch, was heckling one of the players that was being sent down to AAA. They actually put him in
In a headlock?
No, maybe they might have put him in a headlock to get him into. I think they put him into the sauna.
Oh, right, to try to
sweat
it out. Yeah,
sweat out the alcohol. And yeah, so he's not going to be back this season.
No, and it's sad because he had been a bright spot. He'd had some bad outings, but then he pitched a perfect game.
Yeah.
And that's just insane what's going on there.
So that's it. That's the wheel. So now we're adding on to the wheel the SRBB Rehab Center as part of the wheel.
How much are we getting from that? And is that government subsidized? Can we get some more of that money?
We're looking into it.
Okay. We're efforting towards that. I love it. All right, we're going to roll the tarp out on the field and check in, make sure Domingo's okay, made it to the rehab all right. Mostly because we want to make sure we get our money for him being on our wheel of rehab.
That's right.
Do you think that helps spinning around like that when you've been drunk on top of it?
Yeah, probably not.
Puke it out.
Just
the sauna didn't work. We're going to
put you on the wheel.
He has to be kept away from couches because apparently that's a trigger point.
Must be.
Domingo.
Yep.
All right. So that's it. Like I said, we will be back next week, and we're going to talk about, we'll start kind of getting into what's shaping up with the Little League World Series. So we'll have some of that. Of course, we'll see, are the Angels fully out of it? How do the Dodgers make their run through the National League West foes? And a whole bunch more. We never know what's going to come up. Will Tim Anderson try to get another go-round with Jose Ramirez, see if he can reclaim the belt? All that and a lot more. Don't forget, you can find us on social media, Twitter at Sibling Rivalry BB without the A.
And on Facebook and Instagram at Sibling Rivalry BB with the A.
And our website, siblingrivalrybb.com. Notice some different hats popping up. So you can go to Fanatics. Also, I believe that Fanatics will also have Little League gear. I believe they did that last year. So you can get like your favorite. Geez, I got hiccups all of a sudden. They did it last year. You can get your favorite region and that, and maybe even your favorite international team when all that gets set as well. So check that out. The Fanatics links on our website, siblingrivalrybb.com. So we'll, like I said, see you next week. As always, it's fun. Go out and see some live baseball or just sit at home and watch them. These games are shorter now, so you can watch a whole game and then binge watch the Real Housewives of Pacoima. Do they have the Albuquerque Housewives yet? They should.
They don't, but maybe it's in like
Maybe you could be.
pre-production.
Maybe you could be there in the Real Housewives of Albuquerque.
Well, that'd be the Real Housewives of the 505.
There you go. All right, till next time, enjoy baseball, love baseball, and don't forget to swing away.
So I guess, in essence, because we talk about two LA teams, it is the tale of two cities.
But one of them is confused and thinks that they're in one city with the other team.
And they're losing. And one is in the real city and winning.
Mm-hmm. However, the team that thinks that they're in there and are losing was the first professional team in that city.
That is true. That is true. All right.